morning, everyone. It's truly great to be back in school. I'm sure the summer's been eventful for most of us, and a lot happened over the past 3 months. For one, Messi transferred to Miami. This has been really fun to watch. He comes into the team at the bottom of the table and instantly makes an entire sports league look like it's JV. You just don't see that type of unrivaled dominance in a competitive field that often. I'm not a huge NBA fan, but it kind of reminded me of the NBA Finals last June. A lot of you have probably seen it, but if you haven't, here's what happened. So most people dream their entire lives of just being in the NBA. And here comes Nikola Jokic, who just plays one of the biggest games of his career and wins the NBA. So a reporter comes to interview him right after the game and asks, "Nikola, how are you feeling right now?" And he goes, in the most dispassionate, monotone way, "Good." And meanwhile, the rest of the stadium is cheering. The crowd is electric. There's confetti. Jamal Murray is literally on his knees at this point crying. And Jokic turns and says to the reporter, "The job is done. I can go home now." The best part about this is that he wins Most Valuable Player of the NBA and then proceeds to lose the MVP trophy before the next interview. For this man, the NBA is literally a side quest. Now, obviously, this is hilarious, but the reason it's funny is because it's so rare. You pretty much never see someone with world-class talent acting like the NBA is just another 9-to-5 job. And I think it's telling that most people find it odd to be really good at something without also being really passionate about it. Yet, that's exactly what we see so often, especially here at school. When you ask people what part of the day they enjoy most, you wouldn't be surprised to find people talking about something they did over the weekend, or maybe hanging out with friends in the evenings. But what about the time we actually spend in school? Whether you love it or not, the majority of our day is spent in the classroom. Why choose to be miserable just to have fun later? Why not try to immerse ourselves in our environment here and enjoy what we spend most of our time doing? So this year, let's engage. Rather than fitting into the norm by expressing the classic complacent apathy towards academics and our daily routine, let's engage in our class discussions with our teachers, with what we're learning. When Mr. Weiss goes on a characteristic monologue about how the ultimate frisbee team is doing, or a new song and guitar, maybe pay attention because you might actually enjoy it. When Dr. Reddock turns bio into a simulation of natural selection through thirsty birds, just play along because you might learn something new. Now, before I go any further, let me introduce myself. My name is Viswanathan, and I'm truly grateful to serve as student body president this year. I like to get involved in a lot of different organizations around campus, but I'm not trying to counsel all of you from some feigned position of superiority. In fact, it's the opposite. Over the past 3 years as a student, I've observed that trying to engage with what we do in school makes it more meaningful. Last year, for my physics class, I attempted to build an automatic chessboard, and it seems easy enough until you actually start building it. Almost every free period for months, I'd be down in the Glimcher, figuring out how to make a stepper motor work, or accidentally blowing up a capacitor. I'd spend back-to-back free periods trying to fix a problem that Dr. P somehow miraculously solves in 5 minutes. Could I have picked an easier project? Yes. Could I have spent way less time and just slapped something together to earn a passing grade? Also yes. But the process of immersing yourself in something, setting a goal and accomplishing it is, in my opinion, completely worthwhile. Let's pause for a second though. I'm not a saint, and I'm the first person to admit that it's hard. It's hard to find the willpower and passion to devote to activities under the constant shadow of assignments and stress. It's hard not to fall into a trap of complacency and resort to an uncaring attitude. But the one thing I've learned to make this easier is to embrace naive optimism. Now, what does this mean? If you know me, you know that I love the show Avatar: The Last Airbender. And once again, it manages to condense a nuanced concept into a single, well-contextualized line. When Prince Zuko refuses to settle for a meager job at a tea shop and is worried about what the future holds for him, his Uncle Iroh responds, "Life happens wherever you are, whether you make it or not." We're definitely expected to do a lot at Shady Side, but whether that's stressful or not, that part's up to us. Whether you worry about the results of your actions or not, it will still happen. So the simple way to stay engaged in whatever we do is to fully trust that it will work out. To have that childlike mentality to do something for the sake of doing it. But thinking philosophically is useless unless we look forward to the year ahead, to what's next, and address the reasons we're all here gathered today. Shadyside is a special place. It truly is. I mean, just look around us. We can play in concerts and perform in a professional level performing arts theater. We can stand on the football field and count down the seconds until our team wins a playoff game. We can conduct research in McElroy, get a scholarship to travel across the world, and even beat Mr. Griffith in a dodgeball tournament. All of this stems from opportunities to join a new club or team or ensemble or friend group. And there's a lot of opportunities to choose from. For the underclassmen and new students, it's a lot of pressure. No one wants to add any more pressure to the already rigorous demands of high school, but I'm not going to try to tell you to try to relax and avoid these challenges. To the freshmen, embrace that feeling of unease, of overwhelmness, and channel it to try something new. To the sophomores, keep engaging with whatever you do and enjoy what Shadyside has to offer. To the juniors, keep a mentality of naive optimism to work through the days, the weeks, the months, and the U.S. history paper. And to the seniors, I'm not really sure. I haven't gotten that far yet, so I guess we'll just have to see where it takes us. Because after all, Uncle Iro was right. Life is going to happen this year, whether we make it or not, and we can't change that. Things will happen that hurt. But what we can change is our mentality, our optimism, our trust in ourselves and the future. And I forgot to mention one thing. Yes, Nikola Jokic is incredibly talented, but after every single game, for the past 3 years, whether it's a 20-minute blowout or a double overtime bloodbath, he's gone to the gym and trained. After every NBA level game, he goes back to the gym and lifts and works to the point of exhaustion. Regardless of how he shows it, the passion is still there. He is truly engaged in what he does, and that drive is what carries him to the top. None of us this year are going to win the NBA, but we can start by making this school year a great one. Thank you very much.